Hello, my name is Rob Reynolds, and today we're going to be looking at the third section of Mat-073, exponential notation and order of operations. So we're going to be looking at some expressions, how to add and subtract, simplify some expressions. First of all, we need to look at exponential problems where a times a times a is for n factors. So a cubed literally means a times a times a 3 times. So 7 times 7 times 7 is 7 cubed. And we've got x to the, I think, 5th here. Yep. And so 9 squared literally means 9 times 9. And that gives us 81. And we can think about distributing this to be 7 squared over 8 squared. That gives us 49 64s. A couple other examples. This actually distributes to both of these terms. So it's -1 that's going to be cubed and the 5 that's going to be cubed. So this gives me negative 125. And this does not get distributed here. So this just stays negative. But it's 5 times 5 times 5, which is also negative 125. Looks like the author agrees. So be careful. I added this last example in here because if you type into your calculator -4 squared, if you don't put parentheses, you'll get -16. If you do put parentheses around it, you'll get positive 16 because this second part means -4 times -4. So be careful whether you add the parentheses or not. A to the first means the same thing as A to the 0 means the same thing as 1. And the reason why is because of patterns. If we have 2 cubed, we get 8. 2 squared is 4. 2 to the first is 2. And 2 to the 0, looking at patterns, half of 8 is 4, half of 4 is 2, half of 2 is 1. If we continue this pattern, 2 to the negative first comes up with a definition of 1/2. So it's not a negative number. Students always want to say negative exponents cause negative answers, and they don't. It causes the reciprocal function. We'll get to that in a moment. 4 to the first is 4. Anything to the 0 power is not 0. It's defined as 1 because of the patterns that I showed you earlier. Here comes that reciprocal rule. This is not a negative answer. This is a positive answer. It reciprocates it. So if I have 5 to the negative first, we'll get 1/5. If I have 2/3 to the negative first, we get the reciprocal. So think about reciprocating when you see to the negative. If it's in the numerator, we can rewrite it in the denominators as a positive exponent. So the rule would be put it where it's not and change its sign. So if it's in the denominator, I'm going to put it where it's not and change its sign, put it in the numerator. This literally means, well, I'm going to take care of the negative exponent first. So to take care of this negative exponent, I'm going to rewrite this whole thing, -2 to the 3rd, in the denominator. So notice that the negative became a positive 3 because I've reciprocated it. Then it says -2 times -2 times -2, which is a negative, and I can throw that out front. This one, again, I'm going to reciprocate. So reciprocating 1/2 gives me 2 cubed, and 2 cubed is 8. Let's see, the author also writes it out. They work it out a little bit differently, but same results. So again, if it's in the denominator with a positive, you could write it as a negative exponent, but I'm telling you, I don't like negative exponents. We usually, 99% of the time, unless the directions say so, leave all answers with positive exponents. This also says use with or without negative integers. Well, we've got a negative integer here, so I'm just going to leave this -7 to the -4th. So it doesn't say, it says rewrite using a negative exponent, which I'm not a big fan of, but that's what the directions say. So there's the answer. So order of operations, you've seen this before. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I write it out just a little bit differently. Instead of doing multiplication before division, we do multiplication and division at the same time, but from left to right. So sometimes we expand this. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from leaving the room because this from left to right is really important because you do multiplication and division together at the same time, from left to right. You do addition and subtraction at the same time. So instead of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, maybe we'll talk about P-E-M-D-A-S or something, because the multiplication and division it gets confusing when you say multiply and then divide for please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, because that's actually not true. So here we're going to take care of the multiplication first, which is around negative 2,408, and then I'll lastly subtract off 17 and get negative 2425. Here, got to take care of exponents first, so I'll leave the 8 plus 2 and then multiply by 125. Next, take care of the multiplication before the addition. So this is 8 plus 250, and last I'll get 258. And the author agrees. Here, they're going to explore here a little bit with notation. You cannot distribute like I did before. If I had 8a squared, you can distribute that. 8 squared, a squared. But if it's multiplication, go ahead, distribute all day long. Division, distribute those exponents. But if it's addition or subtraction, you cannot. And that's what this problem's all about. We're comparing the two. So over here, we're going to take care of parentheses first. And 8 before exponents is parentheses. So we get negative 2 squared, which is negative 2 times negative 2, which is a positive 4. But over here, I get 64 minus 100, which is negative 36. So notice, these are not equivalent. So the point of this problem is do not distribute exponents over addition and subtraction. We get different answers. 4 and negative 36 are not the same. Parentheses, braces, brackets, they all have the same meaning. So you just start in the innermost group first. So I'm going to start right here. 7 plus 3. I'm going to rewrite the whole thing. 6 minus 3 minus 10. Really, I'm just going to do this from left to right. So this, well, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to do it left to right because of this. So I'm going to take care of this 3 minus negative 10 next. So I'm going to leave the 6 alone and take care of 3 minus 10, which is a negative 7. That's a hard problem. So then I'll take care of this. Oh, instead of subtracting a negative, that's the same thing as adding the opposite. So this is really kind of like a plus sign in here. So I'm thinking of this as just 5 minus a positive 13, and 5 minus 13 is negative 8. Signs are different. Subtract, keep the sign of the larger, which is 13 is the larger. And the author gets the same. So addition to parentheses, braces, sometimes we have fractions and absolute values. So we have to look at order of operations of when to take care of those. And I'm going to take care of absolute value maybe first. So I'll rewrite this. The absolute value of negative 2 is 2, so maybe I could have saved a step there. I'll leave this 8 times 5. I'm going to take care of these exponents in the denominator next. This is 9 plus 8. So taking care of the absolute values, the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. 12 times 2 is 24, so I'll rewrite this. 24 plus 8 times 5, and I'll go ahead and add the denominators because I'm going to kind of keep this as a separate problem, which is 17. Next, I want to take care of the multiplication, so I need to take care of the 8 times 5, so this is really 24 plus 40 divided by 17, which is 64/17. Now I'll leave that as my final answer. I don't think that reduces. Let's see what the author. Yep, 64/17. We'll leave it. So I found a couple of problems on Facebook. These are kind of interesting to look at. You can try to get the answers to these if you want. My suggestion is pull out your graphing calculators because your graphing calculator will do order of operations. You can pause the video and try to work this out for yourself, but I've done this on the calculator already. A couple ways I've typed it in. If you do a typo, you'll get 20. I think if you do it correctly, you'll get a 15. Here are some responses that people, nobody put 40, but the majority of people put 0. You can see right here from this bar how many responses there are. Very, very, very few people chose the correct answer of 20. More people chose the 15, which, as I showed you on your calculator, the correct answer is 15, but people get 20. So this is the correct answer. Okay, but people will get 20 if they mistype it in. But again, try it by hand. You try the 7 by hand as well. See what you get. You'll be surprised. Then try it on your calculator. This is the explanation that I found on Facebook online, but it's wrong because they said that line A is the same as line B, which is incorrect because you can't just add parentheses to this because this means I'm subtracting all of this. This just says subtract the 5, but then add these two. So this person who posted this on Facebook, again, good reason not to trust anything you see online, got the answer of -5, which is wrong. So I hope this was helpful. Have fun, and email me with any questions. Thank you.